Hitting record. Okay. So I'm super pumped to talk to you guys about this because when I was at Brittany and Candace's retreat this weekend, just talking with a lot of the newer coaches, it reminded me that sometimes I forget, because I've been doing this for 4.5 years, that when I first started, one of my biggest worries and fears and roadblocks that I had to like punch in the face was the fear of not knowing how to have a conversation with somebody and have it end up with a challenge pack at the end. I word vomited so much in the beginning. Someone would be like, "Hey, what exactly is it that you're talking about?" Um, I'll see you downstairs when I'm done. And I would just type and type and type and type. This was before the time of voice memos when you could do them in Instagram and Facebook. That's how OG I am. And so after the first few that I botched and they ended up like being like, whoa, I don't think this is for me because I totally scared them. I realized I needed to just sit down and craft what would my ideal response be when I didn't have that excitement, emotion flowing through my veins of somebody who was interested, when I was calm. It's like, what would I say to somebody who said, "Tell me more"? Okay. So that is essentially where the document, the Google Doc that I can share with you guys on the team page again, if you don't have access to it. But it's basically just an outline of how I talk about groups. The main thing that I want to drive home though, because some of you already have seen this or you've been having these similar conversations because you've been coaching for, many months or even over a year, is the energy and the confidence that you bring to your responses is what makes people buy the challenge pack. Because they're looking to you as an expert. I mean, first of all, they've reached out to you and said, what is it that you're doing? They see you as somebody who has something that can help them, right? So if we're kind of like wishy-washy about which package we think is the best, like if for instance, I know nothing about skincare and I decided that I wanted to try Rodan and Fields, and one of my best friends from high school sells it. And I reached out to her and I'm like, I know there's like a ton of different options. Which one am I supposed to do? Like, just tell me which one I should get. And she was like, well, there's this option and this option. I'm like, Becca, I don't know anything about skincare. Just tell me which one to get and I will get it. Like, she's the expert. She loves skincare. Obviously she's selling this stuff. So they are looking to you as like, which is the best one to do? So enter the conversation that way. So I'm going to just basically walk through the Google Doc really, really quickly. But first step is to always bring it back to them and ask them questions. So you need to figure out 4 to 6 questions that would be helpful for you because you want to take their answers and you want to use those in your responses. So for me, I like saying, are you willing to work out like 5 to 7 days a week or 4 to 7 days a week? Are you willing to check into a group? Do you want to focus more on nutrition? Have you tried losing weight in the past and it didn't work? What didn't work about it? What is your ultimate goal? And then the biggest one is, why do you want this? Like, what is your deep emotional reason? It's not just like, I want to lose 10 pounds. Is there a wedding coming up? Is there your favorite pair of jeans you want to fit into? Do you want to feel beautiful for your husband again? Do you want to be able to get on the ground and play with your kids? Like, draw that out of them because you're going to be bringing that up in the conversation because that is their emotional tie to doing this. But you guys, your whole conversation with them is truly helping them believe that they can do this. If they tell you no at the end of the conversation, that they're not ready, they don't want to do this, it's too expensive, whatever excuse they give you, I don't have time, this just isn't my thing, it's because they don't believe that they can put in the hard work. So you're basically fanning this flame of belief in them throughout this conversation, tying it back to their why. So you ask them the questions, and then, so I say, before I tell you about my group, I need to know a little bit about you. So I ask them those questions. And it's a good idea to have a Google Doc or a note on your phone or somewhere where you can just copy paste them, because they're going to be the same for every single person typically. And then I voice memo the next part. But basically let me just pull up just to make sure you know which one I'm talking about. The image with the package options. Okay. So hold on, let me get to be like a beauty blogger here. So I'm talking about this image right here. Okay, so it has 3 packages on there. It has the Committed, which has all the things. The Game Changer, which has Shakeology and Performance Line and the BOD. So it has, like, that's what I use. That's what most of us use. We use all of those 3 things. And then the basic package, okay, where they're getting BOD and then Shakeology or the Performance Line. So during my voice memo, I'm making sure that I say something about one of their responses, at least one of their responses, like, I totally feel you, I was busy working full time, like, talk about what they said so that they know that this isn't like a canned response. Be a human, you know, a genuine human, not a copy paste robot. So you're like, I totally get it. I felt the same way before I joined this group, and here's what you're going to get if you decide to join. And basically, I'm going through these bullet point lists of that image. So I'm going to say, you're going to get access to over 1,000 streaming workouts for an entire year. You're going to get an easy to follow meal plan, the accountability group, which is 24/7 support, plus your choice of extras, which we'll get into later. And that's what I call the Shakeology or the Performance Line. I say your choice of extras to boost your results, because most people don't know what Energize is. Some people don't even know what pre-workout is. I didn't like a year ago. I was like, oh, pre-workout, is that what, like, you go to GNC and you get some powder and you get all beefy? Like, I don't know what pre-workout is. So I just say your choice of extras, because we dive into that later. Keep it simple. Don't use Beachbody jargon. They don't know that stuff, to boost your results. And so I voice memo like 1 to 2 minutes, all of that stuff. And then I say, do you have any questions for me at this point before I talk your ear off? Okay. This is where they say, how much is it? Okay, because you've just like poured all this value into the conversation. Like, these are all the amazing things that you're going to get if you decide to join me. And it's going to help solve your problems X, Y, and Z because of X, Y, and Z. And you give them like real reasons. Okay. If you're too busy, you don't have to drive to the gym because you're going to have access to these streaming workouts that you can do in your living room. So they ask, okay, how much is it? Then you can say, well, it depends on which package you get. Let me grab an image that shows you the 3 most common. I use the middle one. I always say that. They want to know, what's the best deal? Which is the best one? They look to you as an expert. So you say, I use the middle one. Those are all the products that I use and I love, and I would be happy to tell you about them because you've maybe never heard of them. And I want you to make this is the key thing. I want you to make an educated decision on which one is going to be the best fit for you. So let me know if you want me to tell you about Shakeology, Energize, or Recover. Okay? That puts them in the power seat of being like, oh, she wants to tell me about these products so that I can see which one is going to fit my goals the best. Maybe that ends up being Shakeology. Maybe it ends up being Performance Line. But most of my people want to try all 3 after I've talked about all 3, because that is it's insurance. The more you bundle, the more you save. That is the cheapest opportunity to try all 3 of those products. And that is now my most common challenge pack that I sell, is the Game Changer, because they get to try all 3 and decide which one they want to continue on with after that first month. Some people continue on with all 3. Some people cancel part of it and just keep with the Performance Line or just keep with Shakeology, but then they get to try it. So they tell me which one they want. Okay. We're all just assuming that this person is going to sign up in this conversation, in this flow. So, okay, I think I'll do the Game Changer because it does sound like the best deal, especially since it's $20 off in November. So it's really only $200 for all those things. Then I say, okay, since we know this isn't a quick fix, should we sign you up as a preferred customer? It doesn't cost anything extra today, but it's like an Amazon Prime account where you pay a small fee and it gives you a discount. You can cancel it with an online form at any time. It's not a marriage or a tattoo. 90% of my people say yes. The other 10% say, can I sign up for that discount later after I decide if I want to keep getting them? Absolutely. Okay. You guys can literally add coaches to your team. Every single time you sign people up, if you have language that you feel comfortable saying, you don't have to say it the same way I do, but sit down when you don't have somebody eager to sign up so that you can craft what you're going to say. You guys, we sign people up with the same general things every time. So it is okay to have something that you have to copy and paste from, but using your voice memo occasionally just so that they know that you're a real person and that you have excitement and a real voice and passion for what you do. Then here's my brand new thing that I'm really excited about. That I actually just started doing. And I'm going to get the verbiage exactly. And I don't know why I didn't think about this before. Because you'll notice I don't say, do you want to sign up to be a coach? I say a preferred customer. So I send off the link and some people are like, whoa, 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 whoa. I did not want to be a coach. I don't want to do what you do. I just want to get the workouts, whatever. And I'm like, then I have to backpedal. I'm like, no, 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 no. That's how you get the discount. Don't worry about it. You don't have to do any coaching if you don't want to. So now I send them the link. I copy the link and I put it in Messenger wherever we're talking. I mean, the email gets sent to them, but I don't even say, okay, go check your email because some of it gets kicked to junk and whatever. So I copy the link, put it in our conversation and say, just so you know, I'm just going to read it. Let me know whenever you're done checking out so that I can add you to the group. Don't be alarmed when you see that you are signing up to be a coach. That's how you can get the 25% discount. You don't have to do any coaching unless you want to earn some income by changing some lives of people you care about. Boom. I'm going to be using this every single time because then she said, okay, I'm done. Next sentence. So if I was to do some coaching and help others, what does that look like? I have never had anyone signing up for the discount inquire about coaching until I phrased it this way. As you coach and as you have these conversations, number one, you're going to get more confident so that people see you as an expert in this and they're going to trust that you believe that they can do it. And number two, you're going to always find different ways to say things. I'm 4.5 years in and I'm just now discovering that saying it that way is going to open up people's minds to be like, oh, well, maybe I do want to change people's lives that I care about. I can do that through this. And then they're just curious and they have that seed planted. So do all of you have access to the Google Doc? I'm pretty sure everyone on here does. So copy the whole thing, paste it into your own Word doc, and then cut it apart. Use words that you would use because you can smell a copy paste like a mile away if it's not stuff that you would say. So put in the language, word it how you would word it. But know that having that ahead of time is going to make you 10 times more confident when talking about it because you're not going to be like, what do I say? There are some more veteran girls on here. If you guys have tips or ideas or tricks or anything, I would love to hear other perspectives on how you get people to get to the end and say, yeah, I want to sign up. Any tips?
I can share a couple.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've signed someone up, but when I was doing everything, I think things that worked for me was, like you said, just kind of truly just being honest. But I also started, for one, I think something that changed for me a lot is just having the mindset of meeting people where they're at. Because if you get stuck with thinking that you need to sign every single person up with a challenge pack, you're going to start to be discouraged very easily. Because that's what happened to me as well, is all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, they just want to be a customer. Okay, well, great. But it's like, well, no, that's a great thing for them to sign up for. And then they're in your groups, and then they'll start, like, I've now had more people that are like, so what is this Energize that everyone talks about? You know, so like you'll get people that way. And I think that that has helped me be more genuine, is just honestly asking, like, what's working for you? What are you struggling with? Where can I help you? That's something. And then for me too, it's also just, I kind of have also shifted, like, how would I want someone to respond to me? Like, if this was me saying, tell me more, do I want someone to copy and paste this like 17-page thing that tells me everything? Or just say, like, this is what our group, so like I kind of have something that I start with sometimes. If it depends on the conversation, but if it's more like, hey, I heard that, you know, I saw you're interested in our groups, then I'm at least just saying, like, here's what our groups are about. We post sweaty selfies, we encourage people, we try to better ourselves each day. And then I kind of talk like briefly, and I just say, like, that's super high level, but if it's something that interests you, like, I'm happy to talk to you in more detail. And a lot of times people are like, yeah, that sounds great. And then you can kind of go into other things. So I think it's just having a few different options of how to respond, versus feeling like you always have to respond going right to, like, this is what you would get if you sign up. Because for some people that is what they want. Like, some people literally are like, well, how much does it cost? And then I just am like, here you go, this is what it is, versus feeling like, well, I need to build this relationship and do this. So I think just like for me, I've tried to truly take a moment to like read their message and kind of figure out what they're asking, and then tailor my message to it. Because not everyone is going to want to know the cost right away. Some people ask you like 500 questions, which is great. So I've tried to just kind of take a step back and like truly think about what they're asking and how I can respond, and then like build my answers off of what I already have. So I kind of have like a, this is what you get when you sign up kind of thing, like Andrea talked about on her Google Doc. And then I also kind of have like a, here's a super brief overview of what our groups are and what they entail. And then I can go kind of more into it. Like, sometimes I just use those things for if I do a poll, like, you know, I'm trying to think, like, are you ready to sign up, or, you know, whatever that may be. And then it's a very quick response to those types of things. So sorry, I kind of blabbed a little bit. I haven't talked to anyone today. But anyways, that's kind of what has worked for me. But I think, like, literally, I think what has helped me the most is shifting my mindset to just meeting people where they're at and helping get them what they need at that time.
Yes, I totally agree. And when I do get to the end and they're like, oh, I wasn't planning on spending that much, or, oh, I guess I just want to start with the workouts, then I'm like, okay, great. I just start with these because they're the most common way that people sign up, but there are other options, and here are the other choices that we have. You know, you could just do workouts, you could just do nutrition, you could whatever. So I think that's an awesome, awesome reminder. I personally only joined with the DVDs back in the day before we had bought. Like, I refused to do good nutrition. I refused to do Shakeology. So don't discredit somebody or be discouraged. Like Sophie said, if somebody wants only Beachbody on demand, they're getting in the door, they're getting their foot like a little bit wet and building confidence that they can actually stick with something, and then you can add in more layers as they get more confident. Anyone else with tips or things that have been working for you? Or questions? Or like, what happens if blah, blah, blah? Or what would you say to this?
Okay, I have a question, and I don't know, it might deal with this, it might not. I've had more and more people message me who already have Beachbody and have a coach, and they don't want to change coaches, but they want to be a part of my challenge groups I run. And I feel like a brat being like, no, I don't want you, like, but like what I said is, I just prefer that you're one of my challengers because I put a lot of time and effort into it. Or how do you guys address when people are like, I want to join your challenge group? And I'm like, okay, but then they don't want to change coaches, or they don't want that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't let anyone in my groups unless I or somebody in the group is their coach. And I just say, you know, your coach personally would want to know that you're needing more support. So you need to reach out to her. And if you aren't getting support from her, I am always here and my groups are active and I would love to have you, but I'm not here to steal people from other coaches, especially if you don't want to leave her. But she needs to know that you need more or something different. And I'm sure she would be happy to help. So, Sophie, I saw you unmute yourself. Do you have a tip?
Yeah, and I was going to tell you, you're cutting in and out a little bit, but then right at the end there, you were just fine. So, but it was just your voice a little bit. But I have never had that type of question where someone is like, I am already with a coach, I'm already doing Beachbody, but I want to be in your group. I just have a lot of people that reach out to me that either are like, what program are you doing? And then I find out that they're already doing Beachbody or they have a coach, or like they ask me more questions, even like literally like, what is that yellow stuff you're drinking? And I know that they do Beachbody. But if it gets into like, I'm fine answering some of those questions, like, oh, it's just the pre-workout, it's energized, you know, but I kind of leave it pretty simple. But in times where someone has asked like for more information, or like through a conversation we're talking and then I find out that they're with them, I just kind of ask like, oh, okay, do you have a coach that you're working with? Or are they active? Like, are you active in a group or things? Because then if they just come back and say like, yeah, I'm working with a coach, but we don't have a group, then I just kind of say like, you know, I really don't want to step on any toes. So that's something that I would definitely just like talk with your coach about. But if you need more support, or that's something that you want to change over, like I'm happy to talking with you about it, but I don't really want to like steal anyone from anyone. And I just kind of keep it very simple. And I agree, like it sounds kind of like we're being like rude and like pushing them away, but at the same time, it kind of holds them accountable too, that like, if they're not in a situation that they like, or they need more from it, then they need to like be okay with reaching out to their coach. And in some cases, I'm sure you guys have come across this as well, that they're like, no, they're not active, or like, no, I don't have a coach. And then you're able to kind of do that. But truthfully, I just keep it very simple with like, I don't, you know, I think I've said like, I think even before they answer, I'll say like, do you have a coach that you're working with or that is active with you? I just really don't want to step on any toes, because then I think it kind of puts it out there like, I don't want to do anything if you're already working with someone. And then like they can kind of give that response back too. So I don't know if that really helped answer, but I think it's absolutely okay to just kind of be upfront and say, you know, so sorry that you're not getting that support, but you know, at this time, I'm just kind of it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like if guys want to join and I'm like, unfortunately, you know, my groups right now are just for females, but I'm happy to still like give you the support or whatever.
Love that. Other questions or situations you've run into in conversations?
The other thing I was just going to add, I forgot to add this when I was talking, but something that I just have utilized and might be something that I might change as I'm kind of changing my verbiage. But when I am signing someone up and they're like, yep, I want to do the challenge pack, I actually just share with everyone that I say I sign everyone up for the 25% off discount. And I just kind of put it out there like, everyone gets signed up for this and this is what you get out of it. And in some cases, I've had maybe 2 people who have come back and said like, oh, I don't want to give my social security number or something. And I'm like, totally okay, I can send you a new link. Or they just say like, wait, what was this coach fee? Because then what I'll do is I'll say, I sign everyone up for this. And they're like, okay, great, sign me up. And then I'll say, okay, I just sent you the link. Let me know once you're done. Just an FYI, you'll see something that says business service fee. That's just the discount that, you know, you'll get the products. Nothing you have to do with it if you don't want to, but just enjoy the discount. And I just keep it like really simple. And a few people just kind of question again, like, wait, what was that? And then most times they're like, okay, I'm done. So I think just find something that works for you in terms of getting people to understand it. Because I think I used to take the time to then be like, okay, so here's all this stuff that you get. And then like, do you want to sign up for this or do you want to sign up for this? And it's like, okay, wait, now what are you telling me again that you want? Like, I just thought I told you what I wanted to sign up for. So I think sometimes when you're able to like roll it in, whether it's saying, like, this is what you get, and then we can sign you up as a preferred customer, or here's what you get and discounts or something. It just kind of gives everyone the stuff up front versus like, when you think about it, they have to decide if they want to do it, what Shakeology flavor they want, how often they want it. And then like, so we do ask that, like, and then I need your email address and this and this. So like, I think that the simpler you can make it up front and just truthfully be confident with it, just saying like, this is what I sign everyone up for, and majority of people get it, then, you can add in those other things too. Like, it's like a Costco membership or, whatever. So sorry, that's just kind of my little way of doing it. But I think that there's other ways that easily can be tweaked and changed. And I like the idea too of like refreshing your verbiage every now and then.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Super helpful to have different perspectives so that it's not just one avenue. Because
one thing I've really tried to work on when I sign people up is talking to them about the Shakeology flavors, like not just listing them, because I've had a lot of people who will order vanilla or green berry and then they get it and they're like, this is disgusting, because they only mix it with milk. And those are like, I don't know, I hate vanilla unless it's in a smoothie. So if they tell me like, I want green berry or I want vanilla, I make sure I'm like, okay, do you make smoothies every morning or are you just going to mix with milk? And then they're like, I don't have time to make smoothies. And I'm like, okay, then you want like chocolate or something like that. And that has saved so many people because when I first started, Sophie, I didn't even list it because it's gross by itself. But it's super good in smoothies. And so make sure, because I feel like when I've had customers who get a bad Shakeology flavor, they cancel it right away and it's a done deal. But the people I help get a good Shakeology flavor, then they buy Shakeology every month, and that's easy residual income.
I agree.
Also, it's helpful if you ask if they plan. I do that too, Brianna, and I started actually asking, do you think that you're going to blend it or shake it? Because and honestly, a few people are like, I'm not going to have time, I'm just going to be shaking it. And then I just say, okay, here are a couple of flavors that I would recommend that are a little bit better just shaken, because like vanilla is a little bit, it doesn't just have the flavor, but that way too, it just also gives them the idea of like, oh, this is not just like a shaken drink, like I can blend it or I can do more to it. So I try to ask a couple of those, especially when they're like, well, I don't know, what do you recommend? Because I would just tell them, like, I love tropical strawberry, so I would tell them that like every day. But I think that's kind of helpful too, is I've realized that the more I'm like, oh, okay, you plan to actually just shake it at work in the afternoon, maybe a chocolate or something like that would be helpful. But I agree, it's really, I think it just shows more too that like we've tried different things, like that we are invested in the products. The same thing too with Energize, like lately, because now you offer, do you want fruit punch or lemon? And then it's like, well, I don't know, which one do you think? So I think it's just good to kind of put it out there that there's options, but that also like we try these things and we love them and have them every day. But okay, I'll be done. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's amazing. I love it. Otherwise it's just me like crickets. Any other awesome questions? We good? Well, thanks for coming on, you guys. I think next week, this is the second Sunday. So I think next week, Candace and Brittany are hosting a team call if you want to hop on that. And I think we'll sign off for the night. So thanks, guys. Great questions. We'll see you later.